Adrian Blackwell sat at table 14 in his own restaurant, feeling like an imposter. At 59, he owned 12 restaurants across 3 states. He'd built an empire from a single food truck 30 years ago. But tonight, he wasn't here as the owner, he was here on a blind date his daughter had arranged, and he'd specifically asked the staff not to acknowledge him. "Just let me be a regular customer for one night," he'd told his manager. "I want to see if she likes me for me, not for this." The woman he was meeting, Patricia, was 10 minutes late. Adrian nursed his water and tried not to check his watch. A waitress rushed past his table, loaded tray balanced precariously. She was maybe early 50s, with kind eyes and the slightly harried look of someone working a double shift. Her name tag read Gloria. She wasn't one of his regular staff. Must be new. As Gloria turned to serve the table behind him, her foot caught on the carpet. The tray tilted. Time seemed to slow as Adrian watched hot coffee arc through the air. It landed directly in his lap. He jumped up with a yelp, the scalding liquid soaking through his expensive trousers. Gloria's face went white with horror. "Oh my God," she gasped. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." She grabbed napkins, trying to help, her hands shaking. "I just started yesterday. I'm still getting used to the layout. Please, I'm so sorry." Adrian could see tears forming in her eyes. The manager was already rushing over, looking furious. "Gloria, my office now," the manager hissed. "Wait," Adrian said, his voice calm despite the burning sensation on his legs. "It was an accident. The carpet here catches everyone. I've seen it happen before." The manager gave him a strange look, clearly recognizing him but honoring his request not to make a scene. "Sir, we'll comp your entire meal and dry cleaning, of course," the manager said stiffly. "That's not necessary," Adrian replied, "but I would like to change. Do you have anything in the back I could borrow? Even kitchen whites would do." 10 minutes later, Adrian returned to his table wearing borrowed chef pants that were slightly too short. Gloria was cleaning up the spill, her face still pale with mortification. "I really am sorry," she said quietly. "I need this job. I can't afford to lose it." "You're not going to lose it," Adrian assured her. "It was an accident. You're being very kind about this. Most people would have demanded I be fired." "Most people have never worked in a restaurant," Adrian said. "I have. I know how hard it is." Gloria looked at him with surprise and something like gratitude. "Thank you." She hurried away to help other tables. Adrian sat down, now in uncomfortable borrowed pants, still waiting for his date. 20 minutes later, his phone buzzed. A text from Patricia, "So sorry, can't make it." Emergency came up. Adrian stared at the message. No apology, no suggestion to reschedule, just a brush off. He should feel disappointed. Instead, he felt relieved. He caught Gloria's attention. "Could I order dinner? Looks like I'm eating alone tonight." "Of course. What would you like?" "Surprise me, chef's choice. And bring yourself a plate. Eat with me. You've been on your feet all night." Gloria looked shocked. "I can't do that. I'm working. Your shift ends in 10 minutes. I checked." "Consider it an apology for my suit ruining your evening." "Your suit didn't ruin anything. I ruined your suit." "Then consider it a thank you for being honest about being new and scared." "That takes courage." Gloria hesitated, then nodded. "All right, 10 minutes. When her shift ended, Gloria returned in her street clothes, looking nervous. Adrian had already ordered 2 of the restaurant's best dishes. "I don't understand why you're being nice to me," Gloria said as she sat down. "Because you need kindness," Adrian said simply. "I recognize the look. You're struggling with something bigger than spilled coffee." Gloria's composure cracked slightly. "Is it that obvious?" "Only to someone who's been there." She took a breath. "I lost my job 3 months ago, corporate downsizing. I was an office manager for 20 years. Then suddenly I'm 52, unemployed, and no one wants to hire someone my age for office work. So here I am, waitressing for the first time in my life, terrified I'm too old to learn new tricks." Adrian understood that fear. He'd felt it when he started his first restaurant, terrified he'd fail. "You're not too old," he said firmly. "You're experienced. That's different. The nervousness will pass. The skills will come." "How do you know?" "Because I started in restaurants when I was 16, washing dishes. I've spilled more coffee than you'll serve in a lifetime. I've burned food, dropped trays, forgotten orders. Everyone starts somewhere. You don't work in restaurants anymore, though, Gloria observed, gesturing to his expensive watch. Adrian smiled. Actually, I do, just in a different capacity. They talked through dinner. Gloria told him about her divorce 5 years ago, about her adult son who lived across the country, about rebuilding her life from scratch at an age when she thought everything was settled. Adrian told her about his late wife, about the loneliness of success, about his daughter's well-meaning but misguided attempts to set him up. "So your date stood you up?" Gloria asked. "She did. Best thing that could have happened. I wasn't looking forward to it anyway." "Then why agree?" "Because my daughter worries about me. Because sometimes it's easier to say yes than to keep explaining why you're content alone." "Are you content alone?" Adrian considered. "Most days. But sometimes I miss having someone to talk to. Someone who knows me, really knows me. Not the successful restaurant owner, but the person underneath." "I understand that," Gloria said softly. "I spent 20 years being someone's wife, someone's employee. Now I'm just Gloria, starting over. Some days that's liberating, other days it's terrifying." The restaurant was closing around them. The manager approached, clearly wanting to lock up. "I should let you go," Gloria said, standing. "Wait," Adrian said. "Would you like to have coffee sometime, somewhere where no one is in danger of spilling it?" Gloria laughed. "Are you asking me on a date? I'm asking if you'd like to be friends with someone who understands starting over. The rest we can figure out as we go." "I'd like that," Gloria said. "Though you should know I can't afford fancy restaurants on a waitress salary. Good thing I know all the cheap places with great food," Adrian replied. It wasn't until their third coffee date that Adrian told her he owned the restaurant where they'd met. Gloria stared at him. "You're joking." "I'm not. I own that one and 11 others. So when I spilled coffee on you..." "You spilled coffee on your boss's boss's boss," Adrian confirmed. "And I sat there in borrowed pants watching you panic, knowing I could have said something but choosing not to. Why? Because I wanted to meet you as Adrian, not as the owner. I wanted to see if we could be friends without the complication of hierarchy." Gloria was quiet. "Were you testing me?" "No. I was testing myself, seeing if I could still connect with someone as just a person. And I'm glad I did. You're real, Gloria. You don't see a wealthy restaurant owner. You see a man who sat in borrowed pants and listened to you talk about starting over. That matters more than you know." Gloria reached across the table and took his hand. "For what it's worth, I would have liked you either way. Boss or not, wealthy or not, you listened to me when I needed someone to listen. That's worth everything." 6 months later, Adrian stood in his newest restaurant on opening night. Gloria was by his side, not as an employee, but as his partner in every sense. When his daughter asked how they'd met, Adrian smiled. "She spilled coffee on me. Best accident of my life," Gloria added. "He wore borrowed pants on our first date. Very romantic." They laughed together, two people who'd found each other in the midst of spills and second chances. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best outcomes. Sometimes being drenched in coffee is exactly what you need to wash away pretense and find something real. If this story warmed you, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment about a mishap that led to something wonderful. Sometimes the mess is where the magic begins.